I thought I'd show you. I'm out here putting compost tea to my rose bushes that I just planted. This is some pretty strong stuff. I already put it to the ones in the front and along the arbor back there. And I know we're going to be getting rain. We're supposed to be this afternoon. But this is a perfect time to put this compost tea to your rose bushes or any plants, because it'll rain, and if the water doesn't reach the root of your plants. And I'm fixing this way because I'm going to go out here and put water to my rose bushes on the other side of the yard. It's compost tea, not water. Sorry about that. I know I got out of camera view. But I watered the ones up toward the corner of the yard and the one in the pot. Let's see, I take a bucket like this and I just basically dip it right down in the pot. Trying not to get any of the debris in there that you can help. And I'm going to go over here and water my broccoli that I planted yesterday. And I'm going to be fixing another pot to put that small pot in. But it doesn't help to water your other plants with it either. They all need fertilizer at one time or another, so But as you can see, all my rose bushes are blooming really pretty. They're not as big as the ones I had here a few years ago in that spot. But I unmistakably listened to someone and I knew better than to do it. They said if you have to water something, then it probably means you don't need to grow it. So guess what? All my big, beautiful rose bushes died. And they were a lot bigger than those two. So I said, I will never listen to anybody else. I will do what I know is best for my plants and my garden. So that's where I am now on all that. Yeah, the only thing with planting in a pot, you might have to water your stuff a little bit more than you would if you were planting in the ground. But here it wouldn't matter. Here I found it's better to plant in a pot because you can keep it watered a lot better than you can in the ground. Look how beautiful that cabbage is growing. Well, got up too close to it, didn't I? I'm going to make my camera turn off with me here in a minute. Haven't got this thing adjusted too good. Let's see if we can get it up straight. Well, bear with me a minute. I hope I don't make you dizzy or anything. This thing is not cooperating today. Maybe. Well, it's not cooperating, y'all. I thought I had it fixed before I came out here, but I didn't. But anyway, there's what I'm trying to show you. That's our cabbage plant that we planted from the cabbage bottom that we rooted. And I'm just basically putting fertilizer to it. Because that's going to be something pretty right there. It already is something pretty. That's a pretty plant. And And I can see a bug has been eating a hole in a leaf. I'm going to put a little bit in our flowers here. Some of them haven't sprouted yet. But it don't hurt to put a little bit of compost tea to them, even though it's supposed to rain. And I wanted to go check the ones out here in the wishing well. Got moonflowers coming up, but doesn't seem like anything else has germinated yet. That right there is not a moonflower, but I'm not sure if it's a zinnia or what it is, but it's one of the flower seed I put in there. It's turned into a pretty plant so far. Yeah, but see, I just went along here and put compost tea to these rose bushes. Those are the ones I planted a year ago. And this one was a year ago. It's got all these blue bonnets beside it. And then my crepe myrtle that I planted last year, it's coming to life. It's putting leaves on. And there's one there. It's blooming real pretty. I put compost tea to that. I put compost tea a while ago to all these on the edge of the yard, right along the property line, or just inside the property line on my side. That one. They're all looking good though, even that one that I didn't think was going to make it. I mean, it's got a little bud on it right there. Look at that. Little rosebud. And right there. And I've got the tree on the property line there, or just on my side of the property line, so can't put a rose bush there really. So, but I was going to wait to see what kind of wildflowers came up in here, because I put a whole pound of them of seed out here last year. And I do have the little yellow ones, and I've got that there. That's a wildflower that has big pretty flowers on it when it's blooming. All of these do. Crepe myrtle. I just got through trimming it back a few days ago. Those are all wildflowers that's come up along the edge of it here. And all back there beside the shed, that's all wildflowers. That'll be blooming if I don't cut them down. I tried planting them out here, but they came up outside of the rock garden. The wind blew the seeds out, but look all the moonflowers that have come up. They come up from last year, so I don't have to replant anything in here this year. And I got some back there. I got a couple in the buckets right here. Right there. with my mums. My mum's there, and that big moonflower plant right beside my mum's right there. So, just gonna put this bucket and the tripod back up here a minute. Oh man, I need to put more water in that bucket right there. So I'm gonna do that before I forget. See, there's stuff down in the bottom of that I could put in a pot and use for compost. And there's probably stuff in the bottom of those two I could use for compost. See it? All of that can be used as compost in the bottom of a bucket or tote. It's broken down enough that the ants won't bother it. So it's good enough to use it in your buckets as compost. Work great. And that's probably what I'm going to put in this next pot that I'm getting ready to fix. I got to put holes in it first. I haven't got holes in it. So because I'm getting ready to plant another garlic. I've got that other garlic clove in the house that it's rooted. So I got to get it out. Got to get it in a pot. And what I might do is put it in that little green one once I get the two once I get those two broccolis out of that little green square one. I'm going to put more dirt in it, and I'm going to put some garlic in it. And then I can plant the rest of the garlic right there. Finish filling up that, because it's not going to get that big, so if I space them out 3 or 4 inches, I should be able to get a couple more in there. So that's the plan anyway. And I got to clean my hummingbird feeders again. I really got to put water to the moats at the top to keep the ants out of it. Because you know, ants will not, they will not cross water. So that'll be a good use for this water bottle I found out there a while ago. They do need to be cleaned out. The wind has thrown so much stuff in the little moats. That I have to clean them out to put them back up there. There. That one's clean, so put it back up there. Well, it won't keep the bees away from it, but it'll keep the ants from climbing down, because they will not swim in that water to get down here to this part to get down in there. So it definitely will keep the ants out. And I had more problem with ants than I think I did with bees, so. But it doesn't look good when there's crud that gets down in the bottom. The wind will blow crap in the bottom, so I try to keep it washed out. Since it's here on my porch, I at least try to keep it cleaned out. Looks better when they're cleaned than a bunch of dirt in them. And I need to switch out the nectar in the hummingbird feeders too. I'll do that next, but I'm not going to do it right now. I cleaned them out the other day and put fresh nectar in them, but I haven't seen any hummingbirds yet. I think it's still a little bit cool for the hummingbirds. So get the ones on this side. Yeah, it's not quite time for the hummingbirds to show up here. I thought I heard one fly around my head the other day, but I never did see him. So it might have been just that one. And sometimes I don't see them. Sometimes they come at night when I don't think to look out here. And you might say it don't matter. You know, I don't have to do this. No, I don't have to do it. I mean, a little bit of dirt in the boat's not going to hurt, but it just looks better, I think, not to have it full of dirt. But this feeder's getting a little bit of mold in it, so I'm going to have to take these down and clean them and put them back up. But you see, that celery's doing real good. I have not been able to get the other one to root yet. So I guess it was just a bad celery. You know, if I want to root one, I'll have to get another one. But that one is doing fantastic. I mean, it's growing celery stalks. So I can't complain about that. It's got a moonflower coming up in there. I don't want the moonflower in there. Yeah, there's been some stray seeds that got in my other pots. And I've just either pulled them out and replanted them out there in the rock garden where I want the moonflowers to be. Or either I've just thrown them out. Depends on if I broke the root off the bottom of it or not. Which I just broke the root off of that one, so I couldn't replant it. So I'm sure there'll be another one come up in its place. Because I don't want the moonflower to take over my celery pot. Because the moonflower gets really big. And see, that's a sunflower right there that came up. I've got several sunflowers. I planted sunflower, zinnia, marigolds. I've got some of the wildflowers growing in there that I put the seed out in the yard of. So that's going to be a pretty pot of flowers. There's marigolds too coming up in there. And my mum's right there. So I just wanted to kind of get on here and give you an update. I do need to get those feeders down and clean them. I may just do that since I'm out here. I'll have to bring my bottle washer out here though. Let me see. See if I can get this hooked up on my tripod the way I need it to be. Here, maybe that'll stay. Let me go get my bottle cleaner and I'll be right back. I might go ahead and clean those and put more nectar in them. Looks like it's going to rain any minute now. And yeah, I use my dish pan to wash my hummingbird feeders. Because usually I take them in the house and this is what I wash them in. And I've got a little bit of nectar that I made the other day. I had it in the refrigerator so I can put that out. First I have to drain the sugar water out. Now I'm going to do that in the grass out here. Because I don't want that on my walk. It'll just cause the ants to come up here, so I'd rather they stay in the yard. Oh, I got gnats flying around out here. And I don't have to clean them too good because I cleaned them out about a week ago, so there's not too much on them. But that little thing is, I got a gnat flying around my face. It's driving me crazy. That bottle brush is just big enough, or dish little rag, dish mop, or whatever they want to call it, is just big enough to go in these bottles. And then of course I have to rinse them out. Didn't bring my funnel out, but that's okay. I think I can get it in there. And I'm not going to put too much in each one because I don't have that much made. And like I said, I really haven't seen them yet. But I wanted some in here just in case they do come by. It looks like it's going to rain any minute. I think they're going to get the worst of it up north of us, around Dallas and Fort Worth. Not down here. But although we'll probably get rain, just hope no damaging wind or hail or anything like that. Which that's what they're predicting for north of us. I don't know how well the hummingbirds like these metal feeders, but seem like they rust pretty bad. Yeah, and I'm getting my feet wet. I don't really know if these holes are big enough. I might get something to stick in there and make them a little bit bigger. I thought I would try these since the bees got in mine quite a bit. I'm not sure these holes are big enough. Make them just a tiny bit bigger. That's a little bit bigger. I don't want the bees in there, but I want that little birds to be able to eat. It'll definitely keep the bees out, but it may keep the birds out too if they're too big. I mean, too little. Won't hurt to make them a little bit bigger. Oh, they're hard to do though. Some of them big hummingbirds may not be able to get their beak down in there. They're too little. Whoa, just stabbed my finger. There's a little buddy, and my finger's bleeding. Get this hose turned around to where I can handle it. Goes my phone. Never fails. It never fails. Does it, little buddy? It never fails. That doesn't sound good. We've got a tornado message warning. That's the security system that calls me to let me know we got danger. I hope not. I hope we don't get bad winds here. It might destroy some of my stuff. But your hummingbird feeders are just that easy to clean. Just get you a little inexpensive bottle brush or a little dish mop, as they call it, like I've got. I've had this one forever. This chair is in my way. rinse them to get all the soap out of them. Get it off my hands. Oh, I gotta make the holes bigger. Just a little bit. This is just a little tiny screwdriver that I'm putting through here. Trying not to puncture my fingers. And I'm just... I don't know if you can see that. Okay, where's the one that I just made a little bigger? That one right there. You can see I made it just a tiny bit bigger. See the difference? Hopefully that's small enough to keep the bees out, but it's big enough that the hummingbirds will be able to put their beaks in. Because some things, you know, when they say it's bee proof, it might be bee proof, but it'll be hummingbird proof too. I'm just putting it in there and working it around just a tiny bit to make that hole just a little bit bigger. See there? Not much, just a little bit. Yeah, we're going to get the rest of them done. Because I want my little hummingbirds to be able to get in there. Don't we, little buddy? We want the hummingbirds. But I don't think that hole's going to be big enough for no bees to get in there. Do it now when these are fairly new before that plastic gets too brittle. Because if you did that after the plastic gets brittle, it'll just break it. I think they like the one with the flowers on them the best. But I thought I'd try several different ones and just see how they like each different type of hummingbird feeder. And you can tell I really didn't plan to do this today. If I can keep from destroying my finger on the other side of it. Yeah, that was one phone call I'm glad I got. At least I'm aware that there's a tornado warning around here. Usually when we have a warning, there's one touched down somewhere around. Oh. Hopefully that'll be big enough. Kind of like the way these latch. They don't screw on, they kind of latch on. Can't tell what I'm showing you, so I'm going to switch this thing around, kind of see. Hopefully you can see me washing them and dumping them out. Because like I said, I don't want to put this sugar water on my patio. Kind of wish this one was a little bit smaller. I use a toothbrush in these too sometimes. Like the first time I cleaned them for this summer, I did use an old toothbrush that I use for cleaning to get everything out of them. Put that one in there while I go ahead and rinse this one off. I mean, hummingbirds don't mind a little bit of dirt, but you don't want them filthy. I want them to at least look clean hanging there. Here's something falling. I guess it's rain, maybe. I'm gonna have to go around there and close my greenhouse in a minute. And I can't get anything up in this one, so I don't know. It doesn't seem to get mold up in there. You know what? Little buddy, let's go around there and close up my greenhouse because it looks like we're fixing to get some rain. I can hear it falling. Just take the camera around there with me. Get this done and then I'll come back and finish with the bird feeders. Little buddy stayed on the step. But I've got the greenhouse open and I've got the shed open. Get it over here. Let me close this up. Which if it hails, it's not going to help, but at least it'll help as far as the rain is concerned. The hail gets too bad, it's liable to just go right in the top of the greenhouse. We've known to have such hard hail that it just went right through the roof of houses before. Like baseball size hail. But at least that is done. That was hail I just heard hit. And my nectar is frozen. That tail falling, y'all. I hear it. On there straight. I'm going to pour this right in the peppermint pot. And I'll disinfect and all this with Clorox when I get it in the house. That bottle needs to be thrown away. Get my hose wound up here. Get my feet washed off. All that tail I hear falling. It's clinking too much to be rain. And I like to put my chairs up because it keeps that water from sitting in the seat and making like a dirty spot in the back of your seat. Sometimes the wind doesn't leave them sitting there, it just blows them over, so. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a minute and see if it's gonna hail, show you some hail falling. Maybe we'll just get a little bit of rain. Hopefully that's all we'll get. Sky looks awfully light, like I don't know. There's no telling. But at least I got my hummingbirds for, yeah, if I can talk, get the marbles out of my mouth. At least I got my hummingbird feeders cleaned. I've got fresh nectar. And like I said, I don't put much because I'd rather clean them out every couple of days or so. And I got the little moats cleaned out, so they look clean, you know, they don't look yucky here on my back patio. And there's those. They got clean nectar, clean water in the moats. They're ready to go for the hummingbirds. All we need is the hummingbirds to come visit. That's all we need is the hummingbirds now. I like to keep them ready this time of year because this is the end of March, or it's April. And we've had such a crazy winter. Usually they're here about mid-March. But the weather's been flip-flopping back and forth so much until I guess the poor birds didn't know what to do. They didn't know whether to come and stay or go somewhere else. And like I said, I had one. It seemed like I just heard one. He went woo-woo. I didn't see him. But I had one that flew by my head the other day. And I didn't see him, but I heard him. And I know the sound because I've heard him buzz by my head too many times before. So I knew that was a hummingbird. And I try to keep my little fountain here a little ways out from under the feeders because birds will poop. And it helps me keep the water clean if it's not directly under there. I try to get it on a level spot. Yeah, that's level, I think. But I mean, I can clean them out, but if I don't have it directly under the feeder, it helps. Tell the sun's not out enough to even keep the little solar fountain going this morning or this afternoon. It's trying, but it's not getting enough sun. And we're supposed to have some high winds. I guess that's why the wind is picking up. We're starting to get a little bit of wind. You can see in the trees. Blowing the rose bushes a little bit. Not much right now since I put the camera on them. But with that, I'm going to get my feet dried off because I just washed my feet off with the water hose. That's one good thing about wearing flip-flops. Or boots, you can just turn the hose right on your feet and wash them off before you get in the house. And I always take them off when I get in the house anyway, but at least I don't track anything in. And my feet are clean when I get in there. So, and with that, I think I'm going to go before this weather gets any worse. Hopefully it won't, but you never know. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me and helping me clean out my bird feeders, my hummingbird feeders, and getting everything ready for them to come visit. Hopefully we'll have a lot this year. I know I didn't have quite as many last year's because I had some of my trees cut down. And I wasn't thinking about the hummingbirds when I had that big oak tree cut down. back here in the backyard. And I think they must have had their little nest in that tree, because I lost some of my hummingbirds last summer. I noticed I didn't have quite as many as the year before. And I think that's why. So they built a nest somewhere else. Hopefully they'll come back. I'm not cutting any more trees down, that's for sure, because I want my hummingbirds back. I mean, I had some last year, but not as many as I did the year before. So hopefully they'll show up this year and be pretty, because I know they've had babies. I mean, you start out with just a few and they start multiplying, and you know they've got nests close by, and they have babies. So you'll have more and more hummingbirds each year if you don't cut your trees down. So anyway, like I said, thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon and helping me clean my feeders. And y'all have a blessed day. Like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And I will see you on my next one. Bye now.